Did you always envision Nick Offerman doing the voice of Axe Cop? Was there no question, or was there several that you had in mind?
I didn't have. So I admittedly was not a big Parks and Rec guy, but I had been told by many people like, "Oh, this Nick Offerman, the guy that plays Ron Swanson, he's got to do Axe Cop."
Yeah,
and he had been getting a lot of people telling him the same thing. So when he reached out, I was like, I should watch that show then if he wants to talk to me.
he reached out to you.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So, yeah, that was crazy. So like we ended up meeting up for lunch at a place, and we just met at this pastrami restaurant, and he was wearing like a snow cap and shades kind of to hide his identity because he was shooting Parks and Rec, so he had the mustache and everything. Mm-hmm. But yeah, we just met up, and we at that point it was just we wanted to do something together. He loves Axe Cop, wants to do something Axe Cop. We hadn't determined what, and then it was a few months later that Fox was launching ADHD, and the team there, the main people there, had come from Adult Swim at Cartoon Network. They knew they wanted Axe Cop. We had turned down what they had offered at Cartoon Network, a more of a children's show version. Just wasn't a good deal, and I knew they were going to change it so much. It shouldn't be a kids show; it wouldn't make sense. Yeah. So when they moved over and started ADHD, they came back and I said, "Hey, I got this new company. They're willing to be really flexible on deals because it's brand new. So they're not going to take all your rights and things. It'll just be a license to make a show, and we can kind of make it more adult. However, it's just fit the way the comic does it, and which is funny because it's written by a 5-year-old, but yeah." All the violence of a 5-year-old's mind, and so Nick Offerman off the bat was the voice because they had already determined he'll be the guy with the axe.
Of course, there's no one else, in my opinion.
The other two big supportive actors at that time was Ken Marino had really wanted to be Axe Cop he like waited in line to meet me at Comic-Con one.
Wow!
And then Peter Serafinowicz, who does a bunch of voices in the show. They both have been talking to me for a long time. So Nick got the spot, but those other two guys have done a ton of voices in the show, and they were all three huge Axe Cop fans.
Well, it's a funny show, and
it is. It's great.
The story behind it really is it's like a golden, heartwarming story.
Yeah, and I can't imagine it being on something like Cartoon Network because Axe Cop.
No, it's not feather duster cop.
No, and Axe Cop's whole thing is that he chops everybody's head off. Like that's how he solves all the world's problems. And so right. you can't work that into Ed, and Eddie or Dexter's Laboratory. Dexter can't be chopping people's heads off.
Maybe Rick and Morty, but this predated that.
Yeah. So
he was raised eating babies too. That's.
This is true. So there's a lot of stuff in the Axe Cop universe, and I don't think Wexter would have fit well in there, which is the T-Rex with giant M134A machine gun arms, which I think is also a brilliant addition. So Axe Cop is really what kind of brought you into the foray.